Captain Marcus Hale crouched behind the broken wall of what once had been a lively alien city. The wind carried the acrid smell of smoke and burning metal. Buildings lay shattered, their smooth surfaces cracked and scattered with rubble. The once glowing streets were now dim, only faint bioluminescent plants illuminating the devastation. Marcus tightened his grip on his plasma rifle, scanning the horizon. His mission was simple: peacekeeping. But peacekeeping on the planet Zithera had become more complicated than anyone had expected. The war between the native alien factions had left cities in ruins, and humans sent here to monitor and aid had to navigate dangerous territory. Then he heard it, a piercing, raw scream. It was not the usual panic of a fleeing crowd or the sound of battle. This scream was filled with pain, fear, and desperation. Marcus's instincts kicked in. He moved silently over the jagged stones and shattered structures, following the cry. In a narrow alley partially blocked by fallen beams and debris, he found her. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered in a soft violet hue, almost like liquid metal reflecting the dim light. Her eyes were large and glowing, golden in the shadows, wide with terror. Her long limbs were delicate yet strong-looking, but one of her legs was trapped beneath a heavy beam. Blood seeped slowly from a jagged wound above her knee, and she screamed every time she moved. Marcus knelt at a safe distance, hands raised slightly to show he meant no harm. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said, his voice calm. "I'm here to help." The alien's eyes widened further. Her body trembled. Not just from pain, but from shock. No stranger had approached her without weapons drawn or hostile intent. Her species, as Marcus had learned in the field reports, was wary of physical contact from outsiders. Touch could be a weapon or a trap. Do not touch," she hissed, her voice sharp and alien, but the pain in it was undeniable. Marcus hesitated for a fraction of a second. Then, ignoring the fear that flickered in his chest, he stepped closer. "I won't hurt you. I just want to help your leg." He gently placed his hand on the beam, testing its weight. The alien flinched violently. "Stay back! You do not understand!" "I understand enough," Marcus said firmly. He adjusted his grip and lifted slightly, enough to relieve some pressure from her leg. The beam didn't move much, it was heavy, but the relief in her expression was visible. Her lips trembled, and her golden eyes glistened with tears. Marcus gritted his teeth. He had seen injuries like this before. Combat wounds were never easy, and alien anatomy made it more complicated. But humans had one advantage: adaptability. He quickly scanned the debris around him. Pieces of broken metal and jagged stones could be used as supports for a splint. "Can you move?" he asked gently. "I can help you if you stay still." The alien shook her head. Pain made her weak, but fear kept her rigid. I cannot trust you," she whispered, her voice breaking. Marcus smiled faintly, hoping the gesture would be understood across the alien barrier of trust. "Then trust me for just a moment." He lifted the beam slightly again. Her leg shifted, and a sharp cry escaped her lips. Marcus felt a pang of guilt. He hated causing pain, but sometimes a little pain was necessary to save a life. Slowly, carefully, he eased her leg out from under the debris. When it was free, he supported it gently. The alien woman gasped, staring at him. You touch me and do not hurt?" Marcus nodded. "I'm human. We help each other. You're in pain, and I want to make it stop." The alien blinked. Her species had stories of humans, often speaking of them as dangerous or unpredictable. But here was one, unafraid of alien physiology, unbothered by her glowing skin, by her claws, by her unusual form. Her body relaxed, just slightly, but it was enough for Marcus to start his work. Using strips of cloth torn from his uniform and small metal rods from the rubble, He began creating a makeshift splint. "It won't fix everything," he explained softly, "but it will hold your leg steady until we can get proper medical help." The alien flinched at every touch, but gradually stopped resisting. Pain was natural, but humans were different. Marcus's hands were steady, precise, and gentle. His calm confidence was unfamiliar to her, and it made her feel safe. Why are you helping me?" she asked finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus looked into her glowing eyes, thinking carefully. "Because someone has to. Because I know what it is to hurt and be afraid. And because humans, we try to do what is right, even when it's dangerous." She looked at him as if seeing a new species entirely. You do not fear me?" He shook his head. "No. Fear does not help anyone. But courage does." The words seemed strange to her. Alien culture valued strength and cunning above all, and trust was a rare gift. Yet here was a human, not only unafraid, but showing care in a situation that could easily have ended in violence. With the splint in place, Marcus carefully lifted her to stand. She stumbled, her weight on her uninjured leg. He wrapped an arm around her waist for support, and she allowed it. It was a small act, but it shattered the walls of distrust she had built. "Can you walk?" Marcus asked. The alien hesitated, then nodded. Slowly, painfully, she stepped forward, leaning on him. Each movement made her cry out in pain, but Marcus kept his pace steady, his voice encouraging. "Easy, easy. You're doing fine." Behind them, the ruined city seemed to watch. Broken walls and shattered buildings framed the scene like a silent audience. And Marcus couldn't help but feel the weight of it all. The planet had been torn apart by war, but maybe, just maybe, humans could help it heal. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed from the distance. Marcus stiffened. The enemy patrols were known to roam this area. He glanced at the alien woman. Her glowing eyes reflected fear and uncertainty. "We need to move," he said quietly. "Can you follow me?" She nodded, trusting him more than she trusted any of her own kind at this moment. Together, they moved through the rubble, Marcus supporting her weight and scanning for danger. Every step was careful, deliberate, but Marcus's confidence gave her courage. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, they reached a partially collapsed building that could serve as temporary shelter. Marcus lowered her gently to the ground. "You're safe for now," he said. "I'll keep watch. We'll get you proper help soon." The alien woman stared at him, her golden eyes wide. I have never felt this safety with anyone else," she admitted, her voice trembling. Marcus smiled faintly. "Humans, we do what we can, and sometimes what we can do is more than anyone expects." She looked at him, a mix of confusion, gratitude, and awe in her expression. To her, this human was more than just a soldier. He was something extraordinary, and Marcus, without knowing it, had already begun to change how she saw humanity. Outside, the wind howled through the broken city. The ruins were quiet for now, but danger still lurked. Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle and scanned the horizon. Tomorrow would be harder, but tonight they had survived. And sometimes, survival was the first step toward trust. For the alien woman, a single human touch had shifted her world. And for Marcus, saving one life on this broken planet reminded him why humans, despite everything, could be extraordinary. The night stretched on, shadows creeping across the shattered streets, but in that small corner of the world, two beings from different worlds had found a fragile connection. A bond that might, if nurtured, change everything. The ruined building was quiet, except for the occasional groan of shifting metal and the wind whistling through broken windows. Captain Marcus Hale sat near the alien woman, Kayla, carefully monitoring her injuries. Her leg had been splinted, but she was still in pain, and every slight movement made her wince. Marcus tore another strip of cloth from his uniform and dabbed a mixture of antiseptic he had carried in his pack onto the wound. Kayla watched him nervously, her large golden eyes wide with mistrust. You don't fear infection?" she asked, her voice a soft hiss. Marcus gave a small, reassuring smile. "Humans do worry about infection, but I've seen a lot worse. We're careful, that's all, and we adapt." Kayla's brow furrowed. "Adapt? Humans, you are strange creatures. You touch me without fear. You do not flinch." "I don't flinch because fear doesn't help," Marcus said simply. "It slows you down. I focus on what needs to be done." She stared at him, struggling to understand. Her species valued strength and dominance, and any outsider touching another without reason was considered either dangerous or insane. Marcus's calm and precise movements were foreign, almost miraculous to her. Marcus carefully cleaned the wound, speaking softly the entire time. "This will sting a little. I need you to stay still." Kayla clenched her teeth, bracing herself. The sting was sharp, and she let out a quiet cry, but she did not pull away. Her trust in this human was growing, tiny step by tiny step. You are not like others," she whispered after a pause. Marcus nodded. "I've learned that humans can be brave, sometimes in ways other species don't expect. But bravery isn't about fighting. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard." Kayla tilted her head, studying him. "Doing the right thing? Humans?" "Strange words." "They're simple words," Marcus said with a small grin. "But simple words can mean a lot. I've saved people before. And right now, I'm saving you." For a moment, Kayla said nothing. She looked down at her injured leg, the pain sharp and persistent. Yet she felt something she had never felt before: safety. Humans rarely inspired trust in her species, yet here was one, sitting quietly, speaking gently, and touching her without harm. You heal me with your hands? Without fear," she murmured. Marcus finished wrapping the splint securely and tested her leg gently. "Better. You'll still need to rest, but it won't collapse anymore." Kayla flexed her toes cautiously. The pain was still there, but it was manageable. She looked at him, awe and gratitude mixing in her gaze. I have never felt this care from anyone. Not even my own." Marcus felt a pang of sympathy. War had left scars in every being, human and alien alike. "Sometimes," he said, "you find help where you don't expect it. You survive because someone reaches out, even when it's dangerous." Outside, the ruined city groaned under the weight of silence. But Marcus knew danger was never far away. The enemy forces patrolling Zithera were unpredictable, and he could not let his guard down. He gestured toward the wall. "I'm going to check the perimeter. Stay here. Don't move too much." Kayla hesitated, her glowing eyes searching his face. "Alone? You go alone?" Marcus shook his head. "Not completely alone. I'll be right outside. I just need to see if we're safe." Kayla nodded slowly, a faint trust building. She had never allowed another being to leave her side without fear, yet somehow, this human inspired confidence. Marcus stepped out, scanning the shadows and the ruined streets. Nothing moved, for now. The human instincts that had kept him alive through countless missions guided him as he surveyed the area. He noted small signs of enemy activity, footprints in the dust, broken branches indicating recent passage, but no immediate threat. Returning to Kayla, Marcus carried a small pack containing basic rations and water. "You need to eat something," he said, handing her a container with a nutrient paste. Kayla eyed it warily. I do not eat This way, Marcus shrugged. It's not fancy, but it works. Humans survive on worse. She hesitated, but eventually tasted it. Her body relaxed slightly as nourishment entered her system. She had never been offered food in such a calm, non-threatening way by another species. You, humans, you are strange, she muttered, almost to herself. Marcus laughed softly. Strange can be good sometimes. Strange can save lives. The night grew colder, and Marcus set up a small fire with materials from the ruins. The alien woman watched the flames flicker, her expression softening. In this small corner of a broken world, a fragile bond was forming. You do not run. From danger. From me, Kayla said, her voice barely audible. No, Marcus replied. I face danger when it's necessary, and I stay when it matters. Kayla studied him in silence for a while, then whispered, Perhaps humans are different than stories tell. Marcus nodded. We can be, but we have to try. Try to be better. As the hours passed, Kayla began to relax. She allowed Marcus to adjust her splint when needed, and for the first time she spoke more freely about herself, about her life before the war, her family, and the society she had lived in. Marcus listened carefully, never interrupting, occasionally asking questions to show interest. You've been through a lot, he said gently. But you're still here. That means you're strong. Kayla looked down at her hands, glowing faintly in the firelight. Strong. Humans. You are strong too, in ways I did not know. Marcus nodded, humbled but firm. Humans survive. We endure, and we help each other. That's how we get through the worst times. For the first time in her life, Kayla felt a small spark of hope. Humans were often described in her society as reckless, dangerous, or unpredictable. Yet here was one who showed patience, care, and courage. Perhaps there was something remarkable about humans after all. Suddenly, the night erupted with a distant roar. Marcus froze. The enemy patrols were near, moving faster than before. He quickly assessed their position, realizing they might be heading toward the building. Stay down, he whispered urgently. If they see us, they will attack. You must hide behind me. Kayla nodded, trembling, but she did not move away. Marcus adjusted his rifle, his human instincts sharpening. He knew he had to protect her, not just as a soldier, but as someone who had come to trust him completely. The sounds grew closer, footsteps, broken branches, and low guttural calls. Marcus peeked through a crack in the wall and saw a group of hostile aliens approaching. They were larger than Kayla, armed with plasma weapons, moving with lethal precision. Marcus's mind raced. They were outnumbered, but humans had a way of turning desperate situations into survival. He whispered instructions to Kayla. When I move, follow me. Keep low, and trust me. We'll get out. Kayla's eyes widened. Trust humans? I do not. You do now, Marcus said firmly, offering a steady hand. The hostile aliens entered the ruined streets. Marcus led Kayla through hidden passages he had noted earlier, navigating debris, fire, and shadows. Each step was dangerous, but he moved with precision and calm, guiding her around obstacles and away from danger. Kayla struggled to keep up, her injured leg slowing her, but Marcus adjusted his pace, supporting her. She began to realize that human endurance was unlike anything she had ever seen. He did not falter, tire, or panic. He moved with purpose and strength, inspiring her to follow. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, they reached a small, safe alcove hidden by collapsed walls and thick foliage. Kayla collapsed onto the ground, exhausted, but alive. Marcus crouched beside her, checking her condition. You made it, he said, smiling faintly. See? Humans can survive, and we don't give up. Kayla looked at him, her golden eyes reflecting awe. Humans, you are incredible. Marcus shrugged modestly. We try. And sometimes, trying is all that matters. For the first time, Kayla realized that humans were not just warriors, scavengers, or outsiders. They were capable of courage, endurance, and compassion, qualities that could change lives, even entire worlds. As the night deepened, Kayla rested against Marcus, her trust in him solidifying. For her species, physical contact with an outsider was unthinkable, yet here she was, relying on a human for support, safety, and guidance. And for Marcus, helping her was not just a duty, it was a reminder of what humans could achieve, even in a galaxy filled with danger and mistrust. Courage, empathy, and adaptability made humans extraordinary, and perhaps together they could survive the war and find hope amidst the ruins.